We were talking earlier, you had some great stories about bands in the studio. A lot of bands have been in the studio, some haven't, but talked about bands having an open mind and kind of working with a producer as opposed to just going in and just doing their thing. Maybe talk a little bit about how a band gets the most out of the process with a producer who kind of knows what he's doing.
Well, when I meet a producer who knows what he's doing, I'll let you know. It's actually a really good question because like I said before, the process is about producing results. It's about creating something that's going to affect people. We vibrate the air and we make them feel, and how we do that in between is the whole point. So either hopefully whatever relationship you have with the producer. Some guys, like a Howard Benson, you all hear his records all day long. Theory of a Dead Man. He did the last 3 Days Grace record. He did Hoobastank. He's done tons of records. It all sounds kind of like him, which isn't cool. Like I just did a Metric record. I'm doing a Sarah Harmer record and Billy Talent and all these different things. Cancer Bats and for me, my approach is about music is the same kind of shapes. There are things that sound good. There are only so many notes. There are only so many relationships within intervals and chords and melodies, and my job is to help the people become who they are. And so if the people are resistant about taking that opportunity, which is what he's talking about, if the people are resistant about having the opportunity to grow into wonderful, proud, strong people, and I challenge people to do that and become themselves. It's a great, closed environment. They can try all the different hats on for size, and if they're not interested in becoming themselves, they're not going to benefit from the process, and the music's going to suffer. If they walk in thinking they know everything or anything, if I think I know something, I learn something every day. Yeah, you're fucked. You're completely.
You think you got it figured out, you're fucked.
Yeah. So. It's in order for like a band to take the opportunity, whatever Dan's done on one record doesn't necessarily apply for your band. Just because he had success with something doesn't necessarily mean your relationship with Dan will have success. It has to do with you as well. If you're expecting to sound like Dallas Green or City and Color, because you're working with Dan, well, you're not Dallas Green.
Well, unfortunately, that's a great point, but one of the problems is, someone comes to you and goes, okay, I want to sound like Billy Talent because I love Billy Talent. Well, that's been done.
We'll hire Ian to come and play guitar and write all your songs.
Yeah, and get the guy from Billy Talent on it, and then it'll sound like Billy Talent. But that sort of thing is common with new bands. They pick a producer because he's done all these bands, but I am like Gavin in respect. You break it up into a lot of different styles and genres. It's a lot more fun as a producer. You get known as the guy that has the one sound as a producer. Maybe you'll enjoy that, but ultimately, in the end, you'll just burn out on it.
And there are like Garth Richardson again. Garth, he's a good friend in Vancouver, and he makes all the same record over and over again with these bands, and they come in for 3 weeks or 2 months, and it's the same record, and he doesn't give a shit anymore. Great guy, like I'm not trying to diss him, but that's not serving the process. They're gonna, that's not serving, at least from my experience. So the band has to be willing to really want to accomplish something. Like the process for me starts with questions, like, hey, what do you want to do? Like, basically because it's completely possible to do everything. Like we can achieve from nothing. Like the 3 Days Grace band is one of my wonderful experiences. This is the first real record I ever made, and that band had no fans. They were from Peterborough, Ontario. Nobody knew who the fuck they were, and we started from zero, and we're 4 million records in, and there's another record coming out, and that's going to sell another 2 million records. Well, it's possible. From nothing, from zero to that is totally possible. So a lot of people don't think that. They get scared by that possibility that you can achieve your goals, you can achieve your dreams. I remember the day I stood there in the backyard with 3 kids, a mortgage, a dog, no money, going, I want to be a record producer. And that was a crazy day. I'm like, well, I have no gear. I have no reputation. Nobody knows that I want to be a record producer except for me. You know, I'd already done this Danko Jones thing, which I was in the band. It didn't really seem like that. But every behavior that I took from then on, I wanted to have a #1 modern rock record. I wanted to sell 1 million records. Well, I found these kids from Peterborough who had similar ideas. Oh yeah, great, we can do this together. Well, if that sense of, you know, and maybe it's delusion, maybe it's selling this dream that's really hard, it's really, you know, the impossible dream, but without that sense of possibility, you know, Ottawa, and I'm really glad Live 88 is doing this because they're creating an opportunity for people to realize these things. Hopefully people are taking the opportunity, within the opportunity to do it. So you know, you can do it. It's completely, I sound like I'm preaching here, like, yeah! You know, but it's true, like we sell I'm selling the dream. You can have whatever you want to do. You know, as long as you don't limit yourself, and you can do it. You can come and we can do whatever you want, and we can do it better, and we can be.
Gavin's gonna make everyone a record after the show.
No, I think we're gonna jam though. If you all want to stick around and have some fun.